Can we start then, Chris, just with the squad news, the injury-wise and defensively, just some of the issues that you've got to deal with and how you feel you might cope with that?
Tim, it's 9 o'clock. They're not in yet. Give us an opportunity to have a look at them. I don't want to see them again anyway after what happened yesterday. I really don't want to see them. And I don't think they want to see me after what I said to them afterwards. I don't know. I've been feeling sorry for myself. Come on.
In terms of the numbers, though, obviously you've got John Egan suspended. Jack O'Connell has missed the first couple of games. And is there a temptation to freshen things up anyway?
We're not allowed to sign any players, Tim. Where are we going to get players from? Yeah. Nice. Same team, Tim. Same team. Apart from Dean Henderson, he can't play, and John Egan, he can't play. So same team, same 9 and 2 others plus 2. So there it is. Is it live on Sky? There it is.
Dean Henderson. Let me ask you about him, because you obviously won't be able to play in this game. But you mentioned the other day that you were trying to extend the loan and the agreement was close. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, that's just a discussion, I believe, from administration point of view, from 2 clubs. So I've had a chat with the manager, and he was fine with Dean extending his loan to the end of the season, and I appreciate Ollie's help on that one. And I think, as we talked about, Dean's been great for us, and we've been great for Dean. So hopefully that'll get signed off before the deadline.
Let's talk about the game then. You said after the match yesterday that the players needed a shake. So is your focus on getting them all together today and getting them focused on a reaction and a positive performance that will give you a chance at Old Trafford?
They'll know that. They'll know that themselves. They know how I work. I'm a demanding manager, regardless who we're playing, regardless of what division we're in. I'm one of those managers. So, I think we can beat the best team in the world on a day. And people look at me a bit crazy at times, but I think you have to have that attitude. We did when we went to play Liverpool, and they were world champions at the time, and we did when we went to play Man City. So I think you have to go with that mindset, regardless of if we've got suspensions, we've got Dean who can't play, or got a couple of injuries. We have to have that. So as I've said before, can't feel sorry for myself, and to me to set the tone of the day, the temperature of the greenhouse, as one of my pals used to tell me, and players have got to quickly recover and react from disappointment, and they have to do right the way through their careers. So, as I said before, there's very few players have it their own way right the way through their careers, and certainly from a managerial point of view, there's disappointments in there, and you have to overcome them. And you definitely have to overcome them in terms of the schedule that we've got in this period. And so we'll train today, and we'll prepare, recover, and prepare to go again.
You shared 6 goals with Manchester United at Bramall Lane earlier in the season. Is this a different Manchester United side in terms of the way that Ollie has progressed them? Can you see signs that they are starting to get back to where Manchester United used to be?
All I know is that I believe they had a behind closed doors game about 10 days ago, and there was about 3 or 4 players that didn't even get in the 22 that would possibly get in the majority of Premier League sides. So it's an amazing football club. The history of it, past and present, had the opportunity of meeting and speaking to Sir Alex on a few occasions as a young manager, and followed them very closely. It's an amazing football club, and they've got great players, great academy, an excellent manager, coaching staff, and this is as tough as it gets, regardless of if we played them when we played them, or we're playing them now. A couple of players back from injury that possibly wouldn't have played against us. So they're at their strongest in terms of personnel, I believe, and obviously, and rightly so. And they're pushing for a top 4 spot or even higher. And I wouldn't bet against them achieving what they're after.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, Tim.
Hi, Chris. Morning. It's Andy from Radio Sheffield here. You all right?
Andy, you okay, kids?
Yes, very well. Thank you. Very well. Just to go back to the injury situation, I know Phil Jagielka was on the bench, but wouldn't necessarily have played. Where is he in terms of a recovery for being actually able to get out on the grass? Yeah,
well, obviously it's given us another 24 hours to improve Jags. He'd have only come on in the last 10 minutes, and I think just shows you what type of player he is, what type of man he is. That I think a lot of players, no disrespect, a lot of modern players would have not entertained it, but he did. Obviously looking at them and thinking Andy Carroll might come on, and the power that he brings. I suppose just late on, if they were chasing a goal or they were going for a win, then we might have needed Jags' presence there, and he was prepared to do that. And so obviously he's. I'm sure with the timing in terms of leading up to the game, he'll be fit and ready. He blocked a shot on Saturday. Saturday he blocked a shot and just turned his ankle over, but he'll be okay. I'm sure he will be, and obviously with John missing, and he's the obvious player to come in.
When do you think you're going to get the next sort of update on O'Connell, and with that then possibly a green light for him to step up his training to come back?
Well, it's a daily it's a daily conversation that I have all the time with the medical department, who's ready and when they can come back. So as previously stated by somebody who wasn't in the know that he was out for the season, he isn't. He's progressing very, very well. So yeah, again, I'll have that conversation. I had it last night. I'm obviously not going to put it out in the media when he's going to come back. But we're hopeful that he's going to be close. We'll see how today goes. He's obviously a big player for us, has been part of the group that's done great in both ways. With the ball and without the ball. So when you miss your big players, you no disrespect, your performances are obviously you don't really want to change, especially what's been a pretty settled back 3, back 5, and obviously that's a disappointment thing for not just us, for Jack. But see how today goes. See how he comes through today. Another one in the sort of category, Phil Jagielka, who's Jack's a warrior. He's not missed many games in his time here, and he puts everything on the line. So we'll look at that, and we'll make that sensible decision when he's ready and right to come back in.
That leads me on nicely then. I mean, given the injury and the selection issues you've got, Are you considering moving away from 3 centre halves for this one then? Because
Andy,
you obviously played a back four at times.
do you really think that I'm going to tell you that?
Yeah. Well, I hoped. I mean, the answer at the start was very.
Are you just
really,
going to keep that to yourself?
well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I take that's yes. Well, are you considering that type of thing?
Pardon?
How do I take it?
Do you want? I can't believe you. Yeah, I tell you what, this is what's going to happen, kids. You know, I'm going to change. Going to play diamond.
Right, fine. Well, it can go on social media. Give something to talk about.
And we're
changing.
always looking. Listen, sorry to be. I don't know. It's quite a clever word out there, but I'm not going to use it in case I get it wrong. Listen, we'll look at everything. We'll just try and pick the best side. There's a thought process that we go again. Obviously, as I said to Tim there, we're 2 down. We're 2 down, so we'll obviously go into battle with 11. But there's all sorts of things I've got to look at today. You know, there's a thought process of letting them go again and just replacing like for like, and Simon or Michael coming in, and most probably Jags coming in as a middle centre half. And there's a situation where I might change the shape. Of course, you know, these are always things that I've gone through my head over the last 12 hours since we finished the game.
And you've run through those issues. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround in media duties, let alone from Newcastle. But what have you said to the players in the short amount of time that you've had about maybe getting their intensity back, for want of a better word, and refinding their step?
Well, that's it. The rhythm, the step. You know, the numbers regarding from a physical point of view are good, which I said they would be all along. We've just lost a little bit of rhythm. You know, players need a little bit of shake to get their game in order individually. You know, I think if you look through, especially with the ball, you look through over the last 2 performances, you know, there's not many that can stick their hand up and say, you know, I'm right at the top of my game, and possibly people would expect that to happen. I think looking generally overall at every Premier League game, which I think there's maybe one or two that I've not seen in full, but the majority that I have. There's not many teams that are in the rhythm. You know, you looked at that game last night, Everton versus Liverpool. You've looked at right the way through all the games. I should imagine every manager is saying the same things. You know, Wolves found a bit of magic with Traore and Jimenez, and then a fantastic goal that changed the outcome of the game. In their win at West Ham. Palace were good, you know, found a great goal, and that, you know, that boosts confidence and gives you that courage to go again. And we've got to find that from within and from somewhere. You know, as I said, players have got to raise the game. You know, nothing's changed from a tactical point of view. Nothing's changed from a preparation point of view. The obvious. Without a crowd, but everybody's having to deal with that. You know, we're not special to think that, you know, it just affects us. So, you know, we have to find that from within, and players have to shape themselves a little bit and quickly, because of, you know, it's not Saturday to Saturday as it was at the start of the season. It's a quick turnaround, and we've got to find that from somewhere, from within, whether it's a team selection thing, whether it's players, something happening that sparks us. You know, there's no motivational issue. I did comment that I did think that the players felt a touch sorry for themselves when they went 2-0 down, which I didn't enjoy. So they know my feelings on that. You know, we can't afford to feel sorry for ourselves, and we've got to get up to max speed, you know, as quickly as possible. And I think everybody recognises as well that, you know, the players, in terms of our players, what they've done, have had to play at their max right the way through, and in every game, and for the majority of games, in every minute in that game, to even put ourselves in a position of getting a result. because of the standard that we're playing at, and at the moment we're not. It's an obvious one, and that obviously disappoints me, of course, because I wanted to hit the ground running. At Villa Park, you can understand it. As I've talked about quite a lot, I'm not going to mug supporters off and spin it and blame this, that, and the other. I didn't blame anything, or what happened on Wednesday night. I didn't say that what happened was would definitely secure the result for us, or would have secured the result. I'm not going to talk about ridiculous booking for John Egan, these, or injuries. We've been a bit unfortunate with injuries. Other teams have had to deal with that. And we've had some decisions that have gone against us. Other teams have having to deal with that. And we've got to deal with it and get on with it. And nobody is going to give us an helping hand. And so that, we're not looking for that as well. Definitely not looking for it. And that's been part of our makeup, part of mine, then the players' makeup, part of what's happened on and through their careers is the reaction to disappointment, and certainly it was a very, very disappointing afternoon at St James's Park. I'll let supporters discuss if we're a disgrace or diabolical and let everybody down, or the others who think that we're allowed a performance or two in 3 years that is not up to the mark. I'll let them fight amongst themselves on that one. From my point of view, I want to win. I want to win regardless who we're playing. I didn't go to, we didn't go to, when we played Liverpool, I didn't go into to play the world champions and think, I just hope it's 3-0 and we'll walk away. I didn't, when we went to play Man City home and away, I didn't look at that and go, boys, I'm not being funny about this. We've got absolutely no chance of getting a result. I'm just going to tell you, because of Man City, they spend £1 billion, by the way, £1 billion on him and the best manager and the best infrastructure and the best academy and the best facilities. So, do you know what? Let's just not turn it into an embarrassing scoreline. I didn't do that. I went to get a result. My players went to get a result. So that has to be consistent, and will be the same against Manchester United, because Manchester United are right up there with, and will be, and always have been, with Man City and Liverpool, possibly even higher at times. So that's going to be my thought process and how I'm thinking, and I'm sure it will be from the players.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I mean, the 3-3 at Bramall Lane, I mean, for 70-odd minutes, Sheffield United were comfortably the better team, and yet perhaps paid for a mad 20 minutes. I mean, what are your overriding memories of that Sunday afternoon?
I think that's just a welcome to the Premier League from a positive point of view. A brilliant, when you look at it, a brilliant afternoon stroke evening. And I think I said it at the time for the supporters and the ones that have followed us home and away and been loyal through rubbish times, through garbage, through lackluster, nothing performances, through people, battering us from the other side of the city, and from every aspect of being involved as a Sheffield United fan. That was reward. Back in the Premier League, live on Sky against Manchester United, under the lights at Bramall Lane, and there you go. We're 2-0 up, and we were comfortable. We sat possibly 10 yards too deep, but it wasn't chance after chance. It wasn't coming. It wasn't Dean making. It wasn't Dean. It was Simon making save after save, goal line clearances. We were comfortable, and all of a sudden, young Brandon Williams scores a goal out of nothing, and all of a sudden they're superstars flick the switch and turn it on. So that's what happens in the Premier League, and you find yourself 3-2 down. But then yet again, my team, not surprisingly, come roaring back, and I believe get a deserved equaliser. So I think I've already been asked this during the lockdown. sort of one of my favourite games so far this season. I think, one of them was a draw. So, everything that happened on that day from a football club point of view, I couldn't have really no complaints. You looked at the goals and think we could have done a little bit better on this and that, but you're up against world class performers who come alive. But we were always in the game and always in the battle, and that's what I'm looking for. That's what the players have produced. We didn't produce that for 20 minutes. Last 20 minutes at Newcastle, which, as we talked about, disappointing, makes sort of they accepted the result. A bit too easy for me. So they understand my feelings, and we have to, like we talked about, we have to shake ourselves a little bit, get ourselves back up to performances that have produced, good results this season.
Tart, all the best.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Andy.
Tart, thank you.
Hi, Chris. It's Damien from PLP.
Hey, Damien.
Hi. Just one from me. That 3-3 draw that you just talked about, I know it's in the past, but it's a great memory. Is it the kind of memory that you take from the memory bank and use as motivation as you try and lift the players again?
Yeah, I mean, there's good motivation in terms of that performance, Damien, and performances that we've produced for the majority of the season, and there's motivation on producing rubbish halves of football that we produced on Sunday afternoon from our standards and our point of view. I can take defeat. I really don't like it, and the players don't like it, and we're not used to it. But just the manner, really, of sort of, as I said, feeling sorry for ourselves and sliding out the back door. So you can take motivation from anything. You can take motivation in terms of what you can achieve or what you have achieved so far, good performances and bad performances. So it definitely was one on the night where I think Harry Maguire talked about it. He said it was one of their worst performances, but I think you might have to give a sliver of credit to us on the night in terms of producing a decent performance as well. So and possibly the same from our point of view on Sunday. Not great from our point of view, but credit to Newcastle. They were better than us in that second 45 minutes, and got the right result for them and their football club.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Damien. Hey, James.
Morning, Chris. How are you doing?
Not bad, thank you.
Do you know yet who's going to start in goal tomorrow? Is it a decision you've made in your head already? And at what point have you made that decision, if so?
Yeah, I have made that decision, yeah.
When did you come to that decision?
When did I come to that decision? When I knew that Dean wasn't going to be available.
So based on that, can we take it that Simon Moore will start in goal tomorrow, if you're willing to share that?
I'm not willing to share it. Why would I? Why would I? Why would I share it? Tell me what I get out of it. What positive do I get out of telling you my team?
Yeah, good point.
Thanks, mate.
A player who I think might start tomorrow is Oliver Norwood, who, of course, started his career at Man United. It'll be a big day for him returning to Old Trafford as a Premier League player. Just how impressed have you been by how much he's developed since you've been here at Sheffield United?
Yeah, it's been great for us. Obviously rewarded recently with a new contract. I mean, Manchester United, the players that they produced for their first team is incredible and obviously well documented, and the academy has been amazing going back. Well, obviously, I just watched a documentary on Sir Matt Busby, so you look at from that point of view and that time, that's going back, over 70 odd years, 70, 80 years. So the amount of players that they produce, young players, they've got a deep, fantastic history of it, and not always players that are going on to play for their first team. That's part of their structure, and you look at it, and the players they've moved on and sold. So it's no disgrace in terms of not getting into their first team, and there's plenty that have moved away. I know pal of mine, Robbie Savage, was started off at Man U, and I'm not sure he played in the first team there and had a great career. So there's been plenty, and Ollie's the same. Gone away, developed and established himself, and we're delighted with Ollie. He's been outstanding for us. Obviously, had a couple of promotions at Brighton and Fulham under his belt, and playing, so far this season very, very well in the Premier League, James.
We saw signs of what Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes might be able to do together. If they start tomorrow, how difficult a threat could they pose Sheffield United, and what could you do to counter that?
I think I've said this over the last 12 hours in terms of media. There was a Man United behind closed doors friendly inter-club game, and I think 2 or 3 internationals didn't even get in the 22. So, Fred, McTominay, Matic, whether they play 3, whether they play a diamond, whether they play 2, Paul Pogba, Fernandes, do us a favour, stop mentioning these quality players, because we've got all on getting a result, James. Let alone you telling me that it could be Pogba and Fernandes in the middle of the park against our boys. So listen, it's just a brilliant squad that Ollie's assembled, and then, as we say, this possibly the academy boys that they've got a really good group as well. So whatever team they put out is going to be absolutely jam packed full of quality, and we definitely, first and foremost, got to raise our performances from a disappointing Sunday afternoon at Newcastle, and whether it was just another Premier League game, but you play Manchester United, and so we really have to shake ourselves and produce our best performance to get anything from that game.
And just finally from me, we've got the deadline coming up. I think it's tomorrow for player contracts to be extended for those that expire on the 30th of June. Have you got any update on that, on the players that are due to be out of contract on the 30th?
Yeah, we've made those decisions. So from the club's point of view, from the obvious one is Dean with Manchester United. I've had a conversation with the manager. He's more than happy for him to extend that. So I think that's just going through from club to club, which is the big one from our point of view. We've not really got anybody out of contract. There's 1 or 2 boys that have extended. There's a couple of loans that we've sorted out, and a couple of the boys that have gone back and to their parent club. So it is what it is. Our group, there's not going to be many changes from what you've seen over the last 2 games. Obviously, a couple of injury problems that we've got, and 1 ineligible player in the suspension. So we are. We're on the ropes a little bit, but we've got to show that fighting spirit that's got us into this position and got us into the Premier League, which no doubt they will do come Wednesday afternoon.